So what I did was I decided to go back to the sample and say, okay, what key is it in? Let's just go ahead and make a chord progression that ends up with F major 7 being the home bass. This is how I used R&B Chord Theory in order to flip a sample in the Future House. You guys know I'm part of Raya's producer mastery program, and every week we try to flip a sample. So for this week, we got this sample, and the random genre that was selected was Future House. But first, let's hear this sample. So yeah, nothing much I could do with it there. I mean, it wasn't a lot of inspiration built into the sample. It was kind of like some weird experimental texture sample that he decided to use. So I was like, okay, let's see what we can do. So I put it into Serato, chopped it up, but there was no dice, right? There was no inspiration. Nothing was coming to mind, nothing creatively. So I was like, what can I do here? House always had piano. Even though I know Future House isn't heavy on the piano, I said, you know what? It's my track. I'm going to do what I want. So what I did was I decided to go back to the sample and say, okay, what key is it in? All right, we're in E minor. Okay, what is the root note E? The root note E is the 7th of F major. So then I started thinking, okay, let's just go ahead and make a chord progression that ends up with F major 7 being the home bass. Then thought to myself a little bit more, what can I do that is basic but still gives a little flair? Backdoor 251 going to the F major. So what a backdoor 251 is it's usually you take the key signature, you take the 4th scale degree, and instead of that being major, you make it minor. Then you take the flat 7th of the scale degree, and then you make that the dominant 7th chord. And then you end back up on the tonic. Real quick, guys, if you want to learn more about R&B chord theory or how to make beats that blend soul, hip hop, and jazz, click the link down below in order to join my wait list for my personal one-on-one coaching sessions. That way, you'll be the first to know. Hope to see you there. Let's get back to making this track. All right, now we finally got something. We got some inspiration. We know which way we want to go. Now I can move back to my sample. I took my chops, and what I did is the first chop, I left it as is. And then I used another chop, I pitched it down 3. And then I used a third chop and pitched that down 3 also. Let me just let you take a listen to the sample and the piano playing together after I made those pitch adjustments to the sample. Yeah, so the sample now kind of sounds like a little bit of a children's chant kind of in the back, kind of giving it a little eerie type of quality to it. Next thing I did was immediately take care of the drums, put down a 4 to the floor pattern. What I did is I used Native Instruments Paradise Rinse. I used this bouncer kit. Let me go ahead and let you hear the drums that I put in. So the next thing I needed to put in was a bass line, and I knew it needed to stand on its own while supporting the chord progression and also staying rhythmically interesting. So what I did was I pulled up Massive X. I used this Analogu preset, but to keep it interesting, I went ahead and distorted a little bit using Disc Cold Fire bass folding dynamics from Arteria. But enough of that. Let me show you, or let you hear what the bass line sounds like. Now I knew that wasn't enough, so what I wanted to do was to add a little bit more rhythmic pulse harmonically to the track. So what I did is I pulled up my favorite Massive X preset last tape. And what I did was I just pulsed on it just to give support to the keys behind it. Let me let you hear it. Last thing that I wanted to do was to put in a little ear candy, and what better way to do that than to put in a few vocal chops. For the vocal chops, I used Exhale. I used this Let Me Go preset. All right, guys, I think you got the general idea of how I put the track together and how I used R&B chord theory in order to guide me in regards to inspiration where there was none with the sample and how I blended the sample back in. Like I said, if you want to learn more about R&B chord theory, click down below, join the waitlist. I appreciate you. Of course, stay up. Let's go ahead and hear the full production real quick.
TCM.